Hey Reddit. Throwaway because my friends and family follow my main. This might be long, and I honestly don't even know where to start. I, 30M, was supposed to marry the love of my life, Emily, 28F, 2 weeks ago. We had been together for 5 years. I proposed last Christmas under the snowfall in Central Park. She cried, I cried. It was like a movie. Everything was perfect, until it wasn't. 2 weeks before our wedding, Emily disappeared. Vanished. No text. No call. Nothing. I woke up and she was gone. Her phone was off. Her car was still in the garage. Purse on the kitchen table. But she was nowhere. Her parents didn't know anything, her friends were just as shocked. We reported her missing. The police opened an investigation. I even hired a private investigator. For days, I couldn't sleep. I was nauseous constantly, imagining the worst: kidnapping, assault, murder. The news even picked up the story. Flyers with her face were everywhere. I did interviews. I was desperate. Then, 6 days later, I got an email from an address I didn't recognize. No subject. No message body. Just one attachment, a photo. It was blurry but clear enough. It was Emily. Sitting at a beach bar in Tulum, Mexico. Smiling. Kissing a guy I had never seen before. I stared at it for 10 minutes straight before I even processed what I was seeing. Was she kidnapped? No. Was she dead? No. She had left me. With some other guy. In another country. And she didn't even have the decency to tell me. The worst part? I think I know who sent me that photo. And if I'm right, things are about to get even uglier. After staring at the photo for what felt like hours, I finally broke down. Rage, betrayal, heartbreak, I cycled through it all in minutes. Then I started thinking. Who sent this to me? There was no message, no clue in the metadata, nothing obvious. But I had a gut feeling. It was probably Chloe. Chloe is Emily's maid of honor, or at least, she was. We were never close, she always gave off this weird energy. Passive-aggressive. Controlling. Like she thought she owned Emily. She had this way of smiling at me like she knew something I didn't. I caught her staring at me at least twice in the last year, but when I asked Emily about it, she brushed it off. The thing is, Chloe had motive. She hated our relationship. She once told Emily to slow down after we got engaged. Said we were too different. But the creepiest thing. One night I came home from work early, Emily was out, and Chloe was in our apartment. Alone. Sitting on the couch. She said she forgot her wallet after brunch with Emily earlier that day. But she didn't look surprised to see me. Something about her smirk that day stayed with me. And now this email. No message. No signature. Just proof. So I emailed back. Why? No response. I called Chloe. Straight to voicemail. I texted her, I know it was you. Call me. An hour later, I got a reply. You should talk to Daniel before you jump to conclusions. Daniel. That's my brother. I stared at the text. You should talk to Daniel before you jump to conclusions. My brother. Daniel. My best man. The guy I trusted more than anyone on this planet besides Emily. What the hell did Chloe mean by that? I called him immediately. No answer. I called again. Then again. Finally, on the 4th try, he picked up. Me, where the hell is Emily? Daniel, long pause, I don't know, man. Me, cut the crap. Chloe sent me a picture. She's in Mexico. With some guy. Chloe told me to ask you. Silence. Then he said something I'll never forget. I didn't think it would go this far. I froze. My ears started ringing. Me, what the hell are you talking about? Daniel, it was supposed to be a fling. I swear. She was the one who. Me, wait. You were with her. Daniel, I didn't know they'd actually run off together. She told me it was over between you two. That you were controlling. That you cheated on her. Me, I never cheated. Are you kidding me? Daniel, I know. I figured that out too late. He sounded like he was crying. Or maybe drunk. Or both. So there it was. Emily cheated on me, with my own brother. And now she's in Mexico with someone else entirely. I hung up before I said something I couldn't take back. I couldn't breathe. I wanted to throw my phone through a wall. But I wasn't done. I called Chloe again. This time, she answered. Me, why did you send me that photo? Chloe, because you deserve the truth. And trust me, that guy she's with in Mexico. Neither of you know who he really is. But I do. I met Chloe at a diner 2 hours after the call. I didn't trust her, but I needed answers. She slid into the booth across from me, looking exhausted. No makeup. Hoodie. Like she hadn't slept in days. I should have told you sooner, she said. But I needed to be sure. I stared at her. Start talking. She pulled out her phone and showed me more photos. Some of them were clearly from a distance, zoomed in from a balcony or sidewalk. All of them were of Emily and the man in Mexico. He looked late 30s. Tall. Tan. Tattoo on his neck. That's not just some guy, Chloe said. His name is Marcelo Rivera. I blinked. Am I supposed to know who that is? Chloe leaned in and whispered. He's a con artist. Real name, Marco Ramirez. He was dating a friend of mine 2 years ago in used a fake name. Robbed her blind. Cleaned out her accounts, disappeared. I didn't know what to say. Emily met him online, Chloe continued. While you were working those double shifts last fall. I saw his name pop up once on her messages when she left her phone unlocked. She claimed it was just someone from a wedding vendor group. But I knew. I tried to make sense of it. So she cheated with Daniel, then started dating a scammer, and ran off to Mexico with him. Chloe looked at me. I think she's in danger, not just being selfish. I froze. Why? Chloe, because I think he's setting her up. He doesn't run. He doesn't just seduce and steal. He uses people. Then he disappears. And lately, he's been getting violent. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. But deep down, it felt right. Something had always seemed off the last few months, but I thought it was just pre-wedding nerves. I looked Chloe in the eye. What do we do? She hesitated. Then said. We go to Mexico. Less than 48 hours later, Chloe and I were on a plane to Mexico. I didn't tell anyone, not even my parents. I left a vague text for work. All I knew was that the woman I was going to marry had run off with a dangerous man, and somehow, my brother and her best friend were involved in ways I still didn't understand. We landed in Tulum late in the afternoon. The air was thick and humid, the kind that makes you sweat just by breathing. Chloe had a screenshot of one of the bars from the background of the original photo, a place called La Sirena Roja. We headed there first. It was quieter than expected. No sign of Emily or Marcelo. Chloe talked to the bartender in Spanish. A few back and forths, then she looked at me. He remembers them. Says they were here almost every night for a week. But haven't shown up in 2 days. My heart sank. Then the bartender leaned in and whispered something to her. Her face went pale. What? I asked. He said, the last time Marcelo was here, he was arguing with her. Loud. Aggressive. She was crying. He said Marcelo left alone, and she stumbled out after. We left the bar and started walking the beach strip, checking cheap hostels and hotels. Then, around sunset, we got a hit. At a small, almost hidden guesthouse, a woman at the front desk confirmed. Yes. She stayed here. American girl. Left this morning. Alone. Alone. We were too late. Again. But then. Chloe asked, did she leave a name? The woman checked the logbook and read it aloud. Emily Ramirez. Chloe and I froze. She's using his last name now. I said, stunned. The woman added, she looked scared. Wouldn't stop looking over her shoulder. Said something about someone finding her. I looked at Chloe. She's not just running from me, I whispered. She's running from him. That night at the hotel, I couldn't sleep. Around 3 a.m., Chloe knocked on my door. She had been scrolling through her email. I think she left us a clue, she said. Then she showed me a forwarded message. It was sent from Emily. But not to Chloe, it was to Daniel. Subject line, if anything happens to me, show this to Jason. Chloe and I sat on the hotel bed, staring at the screen. A message from Emily. To Daniel. Forwarded to Chloe 2 days ago. Subject. If anything happens to me, show this to Jason. The email had one attachment, a video file. Chloe clicked play. Emily sat in a dimly lit room. She looked pale, exhausted, like she hadn't slept in days. Her eyes were puffy. She started speaking, her voice trembling. Jason, if you're seeing this, I messed up. I messed up everything. She glanced off camera, like she thought someone might be watching. His real name is Marco Ramirez, like Chloe probably told you. I didn't know who he really was at first. I met him online. At first, it was harmless. Just venting. I was mad at you. We were drifting. I felt like you didn't see me anymore. But then Marco, he made me feel important again. She paused. Took a shaky breath. But it turned dark fast. He started controlling me. Saying if I left him, he'd ruin you. Ruin Daniel. He said he had proof of something Daniel did, something from a year ago. He made me choose, run with him, or he'd destroy all of us. Wait. What? Emily kept going. I never meant to hurt you. I didn't want to cheat. Daniel and I, it was a mistake. A terrible, one-time mistake. But Marco found out. And after that, he controlled me with it. Threatened to expose it to your family. To your company. He said he had pictures. I felt sick. I don't trust Daniel. I think he's working with Marco now. Or scared of him. But Chloe, if you get this, help Jason. Please. If Marco finds me again, I don't know what he'll do. The video cut out. Chloe looked at me. You believe her? She asked. I didn't know how to answer. She looked terrified. But I also couldn't shake the feeling that this was just another layer of manipulation. Or maybe she was telling the truth, and my brother was in much deeper than he let on. That's when my phone buzzed. A new message. No caller ID. No name. Just a text. If you want to see her alive again, come alone. Playa Negra. Tomorrow. Sunset. I didn't sleep that night. The message repeated in my head over and over. If you want to see her alive again, come alone. Playa Negra. Tomorrow. Sunset. It didn't say who it was from. But we both knew. Marco. Chloe was pacing in the hotel room. You're not going alone, she said. Yes, I am. Jason, that's insane. He's dangerous. You heard Emily, he might kill her. Or you. Or both. I'm not risking your life too. But she wasn't having it. What if it's a trap? What if she's already dead? That silenced me. By morning, Chloe had a plan. I'd go to Playa Negra, alone, as requested. She'd stay nearby in a rental car, hidden, watching with binoculars. If something went wrong, she'd call the cops. Or worse, call my father. By 5:30 p.m., I was walking the shoreline of Playa Negra. Black sand. Empty stretch. No tourists. Just me, waves, and the weight of 5 years of love, betrayal, and mystery dragging behind me like an anchor. At exactly 6:01 p.m., a figure stepped out from behind the rocks. Marco. He was taller than I expected. Built. Sharp eyes, tattoos still peeking out from under his collar. He had this calm, reptilian grin that made my blood run cold. You came, he said, amused. Where is she? She's safe. For now. I stepped closer. What do you want? He tilted his head. Emily made promises. She broke them. That comes with a price. I'm not part of this. Let her go. He chuckled. You're exactly part of this. You're the leverage. He pulled out a phone and tapped something. Then turned the screen toward me. A video. Emily. Tied to a chair. Crying. A bruise under her eye. She ran, Marco said coldly. Stole something from me. And now, you're going to get it back. My hands curled into fists. What did she take? He leaned in. A USB drive. With data I very much need. She hid it. Gave it to someone. My guess. Your sweet little friend Chloe. I felt my stomach drop. She has nothing to do with this. She has everything to do with this now, he said. Bring me the drive, or you'll be planning a second funeral this year. What do you mean second? He smiled. Then walked away. I got back to the hotel in a daze. Chloe was pacing again, but the second she saw my face, she stopped. He has her. I nodded. He wants something. A USB drive. He says you have it. Chloe blinked. What? He said Emily stole it. That she gave it to you. She didn't answer immediately. Her eyes narrowed slightly, just enough for me to notice. Chloe. She finally spoke. I don't have it. But her tone was too flat. Too rehearsed. I stepped toward her. You're lying. No, Jason. I swear. Stop. Just stop. He said she gave it to you. And that he's going to kill her if we don't hand it over. Chloe looked away, jaw clenched. Tell me the truth, I said. Right now. Finally, she exhaled sharply and walked over to her suitcase. From a hidden lining in the bottom, she pulled out a small, black USB stick. I didn't know what was on it, she said. Emily gave it to me a week before she vanished. She said, if anything happens, give this to Jason. Not the police. Jason. She begged me. I didn't ask questions. My pulse was racing. Why didn't you tell me? Because I thought maybe you were hiding something too. What the hell does that mean? She hesitated. Jason, do you know what Daniel's really been up to? I shook my head slowly. What are you talking about? Chloe opened her laptop and plugged in the USB. Let me show you. It took a few seconds to load. Then a folder appeared. Inside it, hundreds of files. Documents. Screenshots. Chat logs. Emails between Marco and Daniel. Texts between Emily and Daniel. But it wasn't just about the affair. It was deeper. Business deals. Fraud. One message from Marco to Daniel caught my eye. Your brother doesn't suspect anything. You'll both be rich. Just get me access to the accounts. I staggered back. Daniel was setting me up, I whispered. Chloe nodded. Emily found out. That's why she ran. That's why Marco started threatening her. She stole this to blow it all open. I stared at the screen, numb. My own brother was going to ruin me, maybe even kill me, for money. And Emily was trying to stop it. I sat down, overwhelmed. Chloe quietly asked. So what do we do now? I looked at her. And then said something I never thought I'd say. We're going to save her, and then we're going to burn them both. We had the drive. We had the truth. But we were still missing Emily, and time was running out. Chloe and I made a plan. Step 1, stall Marco. I texted the burner number he'd used to contact me. I have the drive. Meet me tomorrow. Same place. Sunset. Alone. No reply. But the message showed read. Step 2, make a copy of the USB. We didn't know what we might need, or what might disappear if Marco got his hands on the original. Chloe made 3 encrypted copies and uploaded one to a hidden cloud folder with timed release if anything happened to us. Step 3, bait Daniel. We needed to know how far he'd fallen. I called him from a new number. He picked up after one ring. Jason, he sounded panicked. Yeah. We need to talk. A long silence. Then. Where are you? I lied. Told him I was back in the States. That I'd found something that could clear both our names, and bury Marco. I told him to meet me back home in 2 days. He hesitated. Then said something I didn't expect. Jason, whatever you think you found, don't share it. Just destroy it. You don't know who you're dealing with. I know enough, I said coldly. You betrayed me. Click. He hung up. But not before I heard a second voice in the background. Marco. Back in Mexico, the next day, Chloe and I went to the meeting spot early, Playa Negra, again. She waited hidden, just like before, watching through binoculars with a radio in her pocket. This time, I brought the original USB, in one pocket. And a fake one in the other. At 6:03 p.m., Marco showed up. Alone. Or so it seemed. Where is she? I demanded. She's close, he said. Hand it over, and you get to walk away. I want to see her first. He smirked. You're not in a position to bargain. Then a voice crackled in my earpiece. Chloe. Jason, don't react. Someone's behind the rocks. Armed. Looks military. My pulse spiked. I looked around, subtly, and caught movement near the ridge. He hadn't come alone. Marco held out his hand. Tick-tock. So I handed him the fake drive. He didn't check it. Just pocketed it. You'll find her at the old hotel. Los Cielos. Room 18. And with that, he turned and walked. Chloe came out of hiding and rushed toward me. Did he buy it? For now. We drove to the abandoned hotel he mentioned, a weathered place with boarded-up windows, vines crawling up the walls. Room 18 was at the far end of the second floor. I kicked in the door. Emily was there. Duct tape over her mouth. Bruised. Pale. But alive. We freed her. She collapsed into my arms, sobbing. I thought you wouldn't come. Chloe checked the hallway. We need to move. Now. We rushed out, but as we hit the stairwell, a gunshot rang out. I turned. Chloe was hit. Blood pouring from her side. "G.O.," she screamed. "Get her out." Another shot. Then footsteps. Marco wasn't done. Chloe hit the ground hard. I turned just in time to see Marco at the end of the hallway, lowering his gun, calm as ever. His eyes locked on mine, and he smiled. I didn't think. I just charged. We collided in the stairwell, crashing down 2 steps before I got the upper hand and slammed his head into the railing. The gun skidded out of reach. He threw an elbow into my ribs, and we both tumbled again. Emily screamed my name from behind as Chloe groaned, bleeding out. Marco lunged for the gun, I kicked it away, then punched him in the throat. "You're done," I shouted. He gasped and snarled, "You have no idea who I work for." I pinned him against the wall. "Then give me a name." He grinned, blood running from his mouth. "You should be asking your brother." Then I felt it, a cold click behind my ear. A second gun. I froze. Marco chuckled. "Say hi, Daniel." I turned slowly. Daniel. My own brother. Standing there, gun raised. His face was hollow. Pale. Like he was watching a slow-motion nightmare. "Put it down," I said quietly. "Jason, I didn't want this," he said. "I just wanted out." Marco said it would be clean. A setup. Make you look like the fall guy, take the money, vanish. I stepped toward him. And now? I didn't know he'd hurt Emily. Or Chloe. I didn't know he was gonna kill you. I glanced back. Chloe was still on the floor, gasping for breath, holding pressure on her side. Emily was behind me, crying softly. "You still have a choice," I said. "Do the right thing." Daniel's hands were shaking. Then, he lowered the gun. But Marco had already moved. He grabbed the weapon off the floor and fired. One shot. But it didn't hit me. Daniel fell. He looked at me, stunned. Then dropped to his knees. Marco turned to run, but I grabbed the second gun and shot twice. One hit. Marco collapsed on the landing, groaning in pain. Everything slowed. Emily rushed to Daniel, who was choking on blood. "I'm sorry," he whispered. And then, he was gone. Sirens screamed in the distance as we waited in the crumbling hallway of Los Cielos. Emily was cradling Daniel's body. Chloe was slipping in and out of consciousness, whispering, "Don't let me die here." I applied pressure to her wound, my hands shaking. You're not going anywhere. Just hold on." Marco lay motionless, bleeding but alive, groaning every few minutes. I didn't even look at him. The local police arrived 10 minutes later. Then the federal agents. Guns drawn. Shouting. Flashlights blinding us. They arrested Marco immediately. They tried to cuff me, until Emily screamed that I'd saved her life. They rushed Chloe into an ambulance. She coded once on the way. They revived her. Barely. Daniel, they took him away in a body bag. The fallout was nuclear. In the days that followed, Marco Ramirez was revealed to be part of a larger international fraud ring, already on multiple watch lists. He'd been using aliases in over 10 countries. The FBI had been tracking him for years, but couldn't pin him down until now. Daniel, my brother, had been laundering money for Marco's group using shell companies. One of those companies was registered in my name. Without the USB Emily stole, I would have gone down for everything. Chloe, even while recovering, turned over every file we had to federal agents. She testified from her hospital bed. Emily gave a full statement, admitting her role in the early days, but emphasizing she was blackmailed, threatened, and physically abused when she tried to leave. I spent a day in a Mexican jail until things got cleared up. Then they let me go. The world found out quickly. My family was torn apart. My parents couldn't believe Daniel had done all of this. My mother hasn't spoken to me since the funeral. I think part of her blames me for surviving when he didn't. But I don't feel guilty. I feel free. Emily went back to the U.S. 2 weeks later. I stayed behind with Chloe while she recovered. Before she flew home, Emily asked to talk. We sat on the hotel balcony, the ocean stretching dark and endless before us. I never stopped loving you, she said quietly. I didn't respond. You saved my life, she added. Still, I said nothing. After a long silence, she stood up. Goodbye, Jason. That was the last time I saw her. Chloe was released from the hospital 3 weeks later. Her scar will never fully fade, but neither will her bravery. One night, over dinner, she said. You were going to marry the wrong person. And your brother almost destroyed you. But now you know the truth. I looked at her. What if the truth's worse than the lie? She smiled, a small, sad smile. Then at least it's real. I returned home a month later. Everything looked the same, the house, the mailbox, the front door, but it all felt hollow. Like a stage after the actors left. A place where things used to mean something. Chloe stayed in Mexico a little longer to finish statements with the authorities. We texted every day. She sent photos of her stitched up side, smiling like a soldier who survived the war. She was tougher than anyone I knew. When I stepped into my house, I expected the memories to flood me. But they didn't. There were no flashbacks of Emily cooking in the kitchen or Daniel laughing on the couch. Just silence. Cold. Still. Clean. Empty. I poured myself a drink and opened the mail stacked on the counter. Bills. Ads. A wedding cancellation refund from the venue, a bitter joke. Then I saw it. A handwritten letter. No return address. My name on the front in familiar handwriting. I tore it open and sat down. Jason. If you're reading this, you survived, and that means there's still hope for you. Not for me. But for you. I can't make excuses for what I did with Daniel. It was selfish, broken, and cowardly. I felt neglected. I felt invisible. But none of that is an excuse for betraying the man I planned to marry. You should hate me. You probably do. But I need you to know something important. I didn't run because of guilt. I ran because of fear. I was afraid Marco would kill you. Or expose Daniel in a way that would hurt your family forever. So I made a deal. I gave up everything to protect the person I once loved. And in the end, it still wasn't enough. Daniel wasn't evil, Jason. He was weak. He thought helping Marco was the only way out of a mess he'd already made. I begged him to stop. I begged him to run. He chose loyalty to a monster over love for his brother. But I know what he did in the stairwell. I know he died protecting you. That has to mean something. You once told me love isn't about being perfect, it's about standing in the fire with someone and refusing to let go. I let go. You didn't. I'll carry that shame forever. Live your life, Jason. Find someone who never lets go. Emily. I didn't cry. I didn't burn the letter. I just folded it slowly and put it in the drawer next to my passport. The place I keep things I don't need every day, but can never throw away. Chloe flew back 2 weeks later. I picked her up from the airport. She limped slightly, still healing, but her spirit hadn't dimmed. She wore the same leather jacket she'd had on in Mexico the night she nearly died. It had a bullet hole in the side. She never threw it away. We didn't talk much in the car. The silence wasn't awkward, it was thick with things we both knew needed to be said, but weren't ready to say yet. That night, we sat on my balcony, overlooking the same city I'd once thought I'd build a future in with Emily. Now, everything looked different. Do you ever feel like we survived something we weren't meant to? I asked. Chloe sipped her drink and nodded. Every day since. She looked at me. Do you still think about her? I didn't pretend. Yes. She nodded slowly. Me too. I turned toward her. She loved you, you know. Trusted you. She lied to both of us, Jason. She also saved my life. Only after burning it down. We sat in silence again. This time, heavier. Then Chloe turned her chair toward mine. I need to tell you something. My stomach tightened. Okay. She looked down at her hands, then back up at me. That night in Mexico, I wasn't just there for Emily. I was there for you. I blinked. What do you mean? I've known for a long time that Emily wasn't right for you. And not just because of what she did. I mean before all that. The little ways she controlled the story. Made herself the victim. I didn't want to say anything because you looked happy. But you weren't. I didn't speak. I came to Mexico thinking I was helping you get closure. But somewhere along the way, I realized. I just didn't want you to go through it alone. And now? I asked quietly. She took a deep breath. Now I don't know what we are. But I know I don't want to lose you too. I reached for her hand. Held it. I don't know what we are either, I said. But maybe we survived for a reason. She didn't let go. Neither did I. 3 months passed. Chloe moved into the guest room. It wasn't official, but the lines between friendship and something deeper blurred a little more each day. We cooked together. Laughed more. Slept better, mostly. Some nights I still woke up sweating, hearing gunshots in my dreams. Sometimes she did too. But we were healing. The FBI closed their investigation. Marco was indicted in 3 countries. Daniel's name was never cleared, but the files Emily saved ensured I wasn't tied to anything. My parents didn't come to the hearing. They couldn't even look at me after the funeral. I stopped trying. One gray Saturday morning, we were sitting at the kitchen table when there was a knock on the door. Not the usual kind. A single, deliberate knock. Like it was planned. I opened it, and froze. A boy stood there. No more than 7 years old. Black hair. Big eyes. He held an envelope in one hand and a backpack in the other. He looked up at me. Are you Jason? Yeah. He held out the envelope. This is from my mom. I opened it with trembling fingers. Jason. I know this is the last thing you expected. I didn't even know for sure until after I left. I debated telling you for months. But in the end, I decided that you deserved the truth, one final time. His name is Lucas. He's yours. I never told Daniel. I never told Marco. I didn't even tell my parents. Only Chloe suspected, I think. She always noticed the little things. Lucas knows who you are. He knows you didn't leave him. I told him you were far away, doing something brave. I didn't want him to grow up in my chaos. But I also didn't want him to grow up in fear. And I'm afraid I can't protect him anymore. Not the way he needs. There are still people out there, Marco wasn't working alone. And they might come looking for me again. So I'm doing the hardest thing I've ever done. I'm giving him to you. To the only man I ever really trusted. Love him like I couldn't. Protect him. Teach him better. Emily. I looked down at Lucas. He looked back at me with quiet, patient eyes, like he'd already been through a lifetime of waiting. Then he said, "Do you have pancakes?" I swallowed hard. "Yeah, kid. We've got pancakes." Chloe stepped beside me. She'd read the letter over my shoulder. She didn't say anything. Just reached down and took Lucas' backpack from him, her eyes glassy. "Come on in," she said gently. And just like that, my life changed, again. 5 years later. The house is different now. Warmer. There are toys in the yard, shoes scattered near the front door, crayon drawings taped to the fridge. One says, "Dad plus Chloe plus me equals family." Lucas is 8 now. He loves science, hates broccoli, and thinks Star Wars is real history. He still asks about his mom sometimes. We keep a picture of her in his room, the good version of her. Smiling. Before everything. I always tell him the same thing. She loved you, Lucas. So much she gave you the best chance she could. Some days he asks more. Some days he just nods. Chloe. She stayed. We never labeled it. It just became what it was. She never tried to replace anyone, she just showed up. Every day. When Lucas was sick, when he got in trouble at school, when he had nightmares, she was there. I proposed to her under the stars, in the exact spot where Emily and I once said we'd get married. It wasn't about replacing the past. It was about reclaiming the future. She said yes. Not with fireworks. Just a quiet, tearful yes. We married in the backyard with 10 people present. No press. No drama. Just us, Lucas holding our hands, and a new beginning. A few months ago, I got one final message. From an encrypted address. A video file. Just a few seconds long. Emily. Somewhere far away. On a bench, feeding birds. Older. Tired. But alive. She looked into the camera and said, "Thank you for keeping our son safe. You did what I couldn't. You were always stronger than me." Then it cut out. I haven't heard from her since. Today, Lucas brought home a school project. What makes a family? His answer. A family is people who stay, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. My dad stayed. Chloe stayed. And I stayed too. He smiled as he read it out loud. And in that moment, I realized. This story, the pain, the betrayal, the chaos, it didn't ruin my life. It made it. The end.